do. There you go.
All right, good afternoon. Athena Protection Services podcast, December 21st. 4 days away from Christmas, that quick. But let's get started. Today, it's myself, Carl. Got my co-host, Dan, in the house. And a guest that I'm sure you all have gotten to know very well. We got Marlon in the house with us today. How you doing, sir?
Hey, doing good, doing well.
Awesome. Before we get started, let's talk about how you can get in touch with us.
All right, you can get in touch with us on our website at athenaprotections.com. You can reach us on any social media platform at Athena Protection Service, or you can reach us on our 800 number at 800-951-4866. That's 800-951-4866.
And as always, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Oh, and don't forget to like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so before we get into today's topic, want to welcome one of our sponsors to the podcast, our first sponsor. And Dan, if you could talk about a little bit Athena Foundation, something that we'd like to give you some information on.
The Athena Protection Foundation is something that we do to help out crime victims in the metropolitan Detroit area. If people need assistance with burying someone that was a victim of a crime that was murdered. Also, we do a lot of awareness programs, a lot of things for bullying, things of that nature. And you can reach that at AthenaProtectionFND.org. That's AthenaProtectionFND.org, or you can follow us on any social media at Athena Protection Foundation.
Awesome. Thank you. Our first sponsor. So, what we got going on today? What you want to talk about, Dan?
First, before our topic today going to be sextortion, but before we jump into that, Marlon want to cover some of the recent news that was going on.
Well, no, not really. It was just
You said really.
Well,
What you mean not really?
okay, well,
you
look.
just bitched about it. Now you talking about you don't want to do it. You about to do it now.
No, what I was saying, it wasn't important, but no, it was just let me pull it up real quick.
Okay.
It was a man and a woman in Kansas got charged with child abuse, neglect, and second-degree murder.
Wow.
The man involved is boyfriend of this woman with 3 kids. He killed her 8-month-old and bit the little boy's nipples off.
Oh my goodness.
The mother's in jail as well. She knew about all of this, him beating and killing the little baby and beating her other 2 kids, and she did nothing about it. It's I just find this sickening and disgusting. I'm just like, my God, what kind of world are we living in? I'm like, it's every day is something, but this is what I put out there. I'm like, if you have kids, I don't care if you're trying to get your groove on or whatever, your kids come first. You just can't let anybody around them because this is the type of behavior that happens,
Yeah, because you see it time and time again.
Time and time, and I almost got caught up in something like this, so I'm very adamant about this, and I kind of take this personally. You cannot just let anybody around your kids, and if they are doing something to your kids, it's incumbent upon you to take action. Whether you get law enforcement or another child protective agency involved, or whether you feel the need to beat this person's ass or do whatever, you got to do something. But, it's better to do something than nothing, because, like, not his mother sitting up here looking stupid. Excuse me.
And possibly going to do.
Well, she going to do some time because,
Let's dive in that a little bit.
this ain't Michigan.
Nah, you talk about a situation where you don't have custody, and if somebody else got the kid,
Right.
what do you suggest that person do to pull that kid out of that situation and not get caught up in a parental kidnapping kind of circumstance?
Hey, I'm prime, Hey, I was in that situation. What you do is you get that third party involved. You get you start that paperwork in the courts to get your rights, get your custody, and then you go from there. Like I said, just because one parent has custody person paperwork, you're both the parents,
Right?
And I really don't care what the courts say. You're not a paycheck, you a parent. Okay, so you got to do what you got to do to protect your child. And, get that attorney, get that other person in court. Bring up what the things that you find out wrong. and let them people make the decision. So.
And I think part of it too is people don't realize how to go about utilizing those resources. And I'm not making excuses for them because we have every day, all day, every waking moment, the smart device in our hand. Use it and figure out how you can get some help to get out of these different situations.
The court system, it's there to help, but it is the biggest conundrum out there. I'm like, you got paperwork for this, paperwork for that. Then when you get the paperwork, it's like it's English, but it looks like Chinese. If you're not an attorney, you don't know what the hell this stuff is. And there's plenty of.
But I'm saying use this smart device to see who you can reach out to that can help you understand it.
But some people don't want to do that. But
you got to.
I'm trying. Yeah, you got to use some smartphones.
Free opportunities out there.
There are, like I said, if you're worried about an attorney, there are plenty of attorneys that'll work pro bono. For those of you that don't mean that, they will work for you for free.
Absolutely.
Or there are some, they will work with you, set up a payment plan, but get you some help. Do not get caught up in these situations.
Absolutely.
Because,
great point.
Like I said, the last thing you want to do is have the police call you at a later date saying something's happened to your child. So. Hey.
I feel like you know when that person doesn't genuinely care for your child, but you're being blinded by the relationship, what you're liking about it, but.
Right.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole. I don't want to get into that just yet. So
that's all right. What else you got? Anything else pop up this week that you have some interest in?
I'm gonna stop talking about my brethren with the DPD because clearly, after speaking to some of them on the phone, shit ain't gonna change. There's a lot of things that's messed up, but I think you and I are retired. Ain't nothing they can really do for us.
Right.
The people that we know that still work within the department are scared to come out here and talk to us because they're scared of repercussions from the department, and it's just messed up. Like I said, the one thing I'm gonna say today that that pissed me off was how the chief got on the news and they had a barricaded gunman and it lasted 3 days. Ain't no way in hell when me and you was on the job did it take 3 days to get somebody out of a house. Now my only assumptions is why they were knee jerking with this. Maybe it was because of the McLean incident or the Weekly incident, But I'm just like, okay, even still, 3 days. Okay, and the only person that was in the house was the perpetrator, and y'all knew that. Knock the goddamn door down. Throw some tear gas in there. Get him out. Why did it take 3 days? Then you find him upstairs hiding, hypothermia and all. Why? Because everybody's scared that if they do something, you sit up there, let the media dictate how we do this job.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to make a decision.
Sometimes you got to make a decision. And, unfortunately, it's not going to be the popular decision.
Right.
But as police officers, you got a job to do. And all your decisions are not going to always be popular.
Right.
And, I'm like, Chief, you and your command staff need to understand that. You can't be kissing the media's ass all the time. You can't be sitting up here letting people that don't know nothing about the job post stupid shit on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Fuck them. You got a job to do.
So what's the procedure when you have a...
Well, like I said, depending on the situation, you bring in a negotiator or and that's someone to talk to them. But even
this
still
particular
with that,
situation, you said there was only one person in the house that had confirmed that.
But it took them 3 days to get the guy out, and I'm still trying to figure that out. I have never, in 21 years with DPD, I have never heard of a 3-day barricaded gunman. Yes, there have been times when it's been some hours, but nothing like no 3 days. So I'm looking like, okay, did all them officers stay there? All that time was people weren't able to go home. Or people being relieved. I'm like, man,
you would imagine they had to be.
Well, I don't know, but I'm just my whole thing is that was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, at what point is somebody in law enforcement, and not even just Detroit, because this happens all over the country.
Okay.
At what point is somebody gonna say, enough is enough? I'm gonna do my job, and I don't give a fuck if y'all don't like it.
Right.
Like I said, I tell a lot of people, Some people is meant to call the police. Some people is meant to be the police. And everybody to sit up here and say, I hate the police, fuck the police. What do you do when you have some trouble? You always calling 911. You know, so I'm like, don't sit up here. You need them. You need us. You need them. So don't play like it. Yay. Sometimes, like I said, you know, like I always told people when I came to their houses sometimes, I said, you know what? I'm here because you couldn't make a decision on how to handle your situation, so I'm here to handle it for you. If you don't like it, don't call 911 no more.
Right.
You know. But okay, I'm off my soapbox. Let's talk about something else.
That's all good, man. So,
He
so
tell
today,
him, look,
hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate you dropping your opinion, letting everybody know how you feel, and uncensored. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
we get raw here.
But one other thing I'm upset about is they wait till me and you leave. Now they getting dress uniforms for the funerals.
Well, I don't care about that.
Oh, I don't. But it just, I'm like, that was something I was advocating for years.
Well, they got it now.
Well,
They
you
got
should-
it.
You should be
You get
happy.
it.
Well, God damn it, I wanted one.
Well,
Shit.
go buy you one, man.
No, I'm
Shit, you
not- no.
retired. You got an ID. Go get one.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on all that. You know.
We gonna make sure
Okay.
we get somebody up here after the podcast.
Yeah,
Get
we
this
gonna
man
get
a
you a
hug.
dress uniform.
Get
No,
him
I
a
don't
dress
need one. I don't need
uniform.
one because
We
I
gonna
had to
get you
turn.
one.
I had to. We had to turn all that shit in anyway. So
we gonna get you one anyway. We're gonna stay retired on it. All right. So today, what we want to discuss
Okay.
is sextortion. And for people
Wow.
that don't know
Sextortion?
what sextortion is, it is a
Okay.
form of blackmail generally used by adults to coerce children into sending them explicit videos or photos. Children are not the only victims of sextortion, but they are the primary victims that these adults or these perpetrators tend to go after.
Wow.
Generally, for adults, the sextortion is because of a hacking situation. Children are usually coerced through social media and different chat groups and things like that. And, you know, the kid think they may be talking to somebody their own age group. Usually adults that become victim of sextortion, they were hacked through like some kind of phishing email or something like that where
Okay.
the perpetrator got into their email, which once you click that email, they get access to your mic and your video camera and things like that. And then they can see all the pictures that are on your phone or in your computer and, you know, different things like that. And then they can use those photos to try to solicit more photos or try to solicit more videos or try to solicit money from you in
Okay.
order to blackmail you into giving them more things. And sometimes, in some occasions, they even try to get you to meet up with them so
Wow,
that they
that's
won't
scary.
expose, you know, the things that they found on your computer. Generally, the underwear that this is a perpetrator on the other end, at least for kids anyway. So by the numbers, we're going to go over some numbers real quick. Minors are at the greatest risk of becoming victims of this cybercrime, targeting over 90% of cases of social media manipulation.
Interesting.
And that number is, I believe, is 8 years old to 17 years old. We got 71% of sextortion cases involve only victims under 18. Cases with a mixture of minors and adult victims averaged about 14%. And then cases only involving adults were about 12%. And all persons prosecuted for this crime have been male so far. In some cases, those males were related to the victims that they were sextorting.
Are you serious?
Unfortunately, yes, I am.
Oh, I thought this is 78% were female.
It is. Yeah. This was breaking it down
Oh,
like
okay.
case by case.
Oh,
over
okay,
here.
okay.
The minimum amount of victims that they saw that these guys had were 10. The highest was 100 for one guy. Had 100 victims over the internet. And it's a different state and federal crime, so the prosecutions vary. So this is why we kind of talk about your children should have no expectation of privacy,
Exactly.
especially little
Yep,
kids.
Yep. Well, hell, little kids don't need to be on social media anyway, but
But they got, like I said, the youngest was 8 years old. So as parents, I'm gonna ask y'all what safety protocols do y'all have in place to make sure that your kids are not victimized or run into situations like this?
well, you know, we some old farts, but so when this social media boom really started for me, my kids were, in their late teens, growing into adulthood. So it was pretty much, I was left unattended. What happened was if it was more my daughter than any of my other, posting inappropriate stuff, I had to hear from other family members. Marlon, look what Masa's putting on the internet, so then I had to check her about that. But yeah, hell, they grown now. But now with my little one, he ain't old enough to mess with it now. So who knows what's gonna pop up in the next 6 years? At that point, I'm gonna have to worry. Like I said, as of right now, my thing is till he's old enough to say this is what was shown to me, or Dad, what public. I'm not gonna deal with it. But right now, I'm just not gonna have no access to it. The other three, y'all grown. You've already listened to me. Y'all gonna have to do what y'all got to do because I can't do nothing for you.
Well, I know for me, having a teenage son, and because of the technology, and I think me being kind of tech savvy or at least tech interested, I utilized a lot of these same things like you talked about. Always monitoring the password on the phone was something that I created, so I had access to the phone whenever I wanted it. Give me the phone, let me see what you've been doing on it. But over and beyond that, taking and utilizing the different apps that the internet companies or the cable providers are offering where I can monitor usage, cut down usage, either limit it or cut it completely off at certain times. So, when it's time to get ready for bed, the internet's not working.
Right.
Again, not having an expectation of privacy within the house that I pay the bills at.
Right.
I'm not some leader with an iron fist. I do feel like I'm logical.
He lying. We all some goddamn dictators, but hey, fuck
But
it.
at the end of the day, I think that if you communicate with your kids, the expectation, and I say that a lot in regards to a lot of different topics, but communicating the expectations and then not being afraid to reiterate those expectations when they're not being met. I feel like this is something that will help you greatly in every aspect of your life. We won't talk about it, but your relationship, your employer, everything. If you set those expectations and make the other people aware of them, i.e. these kids, we have to set that expectation and make sure they're aware of it.
So here's how teenage boys in particular get caught up.
Okay.
They think they found a pretty young woman online who want to share pictures with them.
Easy trap.
So
want to see that? Let me see it.
He fall into the trap. You show me something, I show you something, and then he don't know he being videoed the whole time he's showing something, or his pictures are being captured and saved when he's showing something. And then the guy exposed himself to be a man on the other end, which he thought was a woman or a girl his age. So then the guy goes on to tell him, I recorded the whole back and forth, manipulates the situation.
Okay.
Now, since if your son on social media, the guy may know where he go to school. He may know who his friends are. So now if you don't want me to tell your friends that you gay and that you was just doing all this stuff for me and you don't want me to show them, then I need you to send me another video tomorrow. And then that video not going to be good enough. So I'm going to need you to send me another video and some pictures the day after that. And the day after that is never good enough. And then that's how they end up getting caught in that trap.
It's crazy.
It sounds crazy, but apparently it's not because it's happening.
Well, yeah, what it is, then honestly, it's always been happening. Just with technology, it's just easier to do. But all this stuff has always been going on. It's just now with the technology, it's easier for these predators to, get access to these kids.
But I mean, hell, they got phones.
Yeah,
So if he at school in the bathroom, how you gonna stop that? You know what I'm saying? If your daughter at school in the bathroom, how do you stop that? Or if she didn't go to school today and you ain't found that out yet, how you gonna stop that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think just making them aware of the dangers that exist and what these plots are, you know what I'm saying, will help out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that they won't be victimized. Just making them aware of the dangers that's out there.
Right. That's what I say. Marlon kind of kidded with me about the dictatorship. Yeah, to a degree, but also just really want to, we always want to do things differently than the way we felt it was done. Because we look back as we got older and we appreciated what our parents taught us. But when we was going through it, we didn't
Right.
like the delivery.
Right.
So I'm one of those type of parents where I feel like if I can, get the message across and maintain the delivery, but also set that expectation of what life is going to deliver, that's why it's delivered that way, so you understand.
Yeah. If there's
If
any
that makes any sense.
if
to
there's
you
any
out there
kids listening to their parents, they do things because they care about you. If your parents ain't give two shits about you, they let you do whatever the hell you want and wouldn't care. But if your parents are constantly in your business, it's because they love you and they concerned about you.
Absolutely.
So, if there's any kids listening, hey, look,
And they parents,
you will understand when you have your own kids.
your parents, their parents taught them with way less than what we had.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
they look at it like, damn it, we turned out okay.
What? Yeah.
So this shit works.
Right.
What else you got there, Dan?
All right. So some of the psychological impacts. Study found that victims of sextortion will withdraw from family members
Okay.
and can experience high levels of anxiety, psychological, physical, and emotional trauma. Children may begin bullying or become increased risk for suicide or even increased risk for dropouts. Reporting also indicates that psychological trauma caused by being a victim of sextortion often follows children and a child into adulthood.
Absolutely.
Now, I
can
saw
see
a
that.
couple of cases, and one of them was in Canada, where a young lady was sextorted, and she was coming home every day. The guy demanded things every day, and like I said, the demands and stuff is never good enough. And then the kids are afraid to tell their parents what they caught up in. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to know, that they're doing these things, or the person may know who you are and may have threatened them, like, I know who your father is, I know where he worked, and I'll kill him if you say something. You know what I'm saying? So they turn into a place where they're trying to protect you by doing these things to make sure that you don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's another conversation that you got to have with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we always lucky. Like I said, I don't know. That might have happened with my kids, but they always like, my daddy got a gun. Or my daddy crazy.
But within that too, because I just think about it, how you as a parent, you think you got your finger on the pulse of the relationship with the kid, and they totally have a different outlook on you as an individual.
Exactly.
So you can't be naive into thinking that
Right.
it's that way. So great point. You got to just communicate though, because
Yeah.
those are things that if you go in knowing it's almost like, knowing the ending to a story. It's not as sad or it's not as dramatic if you already know the ending. So when they see these things pop up on their social media, they'll be like, wow, somebody's really trying me. Which for the life of me, I don't understand how you get into relationships or think you're in a relationship with somebody you met over the internet.
Well, I mean, these are kids.
These are kids,
manipulated easily.
Right.
You
I'm
got to
just
think
saying.
they may not have both parents at home. They may not have any parents at home.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Or
And-
both, and they just
Yeah.
on their device.
Yeah, and then somebody could be telling them how beautiful they are and how much they love them, and they may be missing that in their life, and then here goes somebody
They'll
giving
find
them
that insecurity.
attention that they crave.
They'll find those insecurities.
So, some preventative measures that the study came up with was making children aware of what may be out there online.
Okay.
Making sure privacy settings are set on phones for your kids. Anyone who asks a child to engage in sexually explicit activity online should be reported by the parent or guardian to law enforcement. Not really something that you should go and try to handle on your own. I know you want to handle it yourself, but there's outlets out there that you can go and take care of it, so that because your kid 9 times out of 10 won't be the only victim that this person went after.
But yeah, we already had a discussion about that. We saw that was another thing we can talk about later. Another young lady took action in her own hands, and now she's sitting in jail. But it is what it is. America's criminal justice system just does not work like it should. But,
It don't. But another thing, if you got a computer at home, it should be not away in a room. It should be out where everybody can really see what's going on, what kind of activity is happening on that one device. If that's how you get down, a lot of people got laptops now or tablets. Kids got their own tablets now,
Yep.
so it's a little bit different.
Absolutely.
And how kids get access to,
Or just
different
very
things
mobile.
online. So it's becoming way tougher for parents to be able to combat this issue. But one of the ways to combat it is to have awareness of what's on your kids' tablets. So if you see something like Omegle, which is a app that lets you talk to strangers, if you see Chatterbait, you should definitely take that off because that's a sex site. Kick is one that they use, Tumblr, which has addressed a lot of their adult content issues. Kids still can talk to strangers on there, the WhatsApps, the Snapchats, Kick, all those different kinds of apps. You should know who their friends are, and kind of have some kind of idea of what's going on those apps when your kids are using them.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
So, like for you, your son don't have siblings in the house. So he kind of,
Right.
he free. You know what I'm saying? When you ain't
Exactly.
there,
He doing whatever.
pretty much doing what he want to do. But like I say, he older, but he should always be aware of those threats. But different people, if there's no brother or sister there to kind of look over their shoulder and see what they doing. If you're a single parent and you got a kid and just that one kid and they got access to this stuff, especially if it's a little girl, she high risk.
Right.
Oh, Lord, I'm glad my daughter's grown.
She's still at risk. So,
Yeah, she's still at
and
risk.
I would say because what they do, like I said before, they'll hack into her computer. So if she should know better than to keep things on her computer that she don't want the world to see.
Well, we done already discussed that, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Definitely.
So before we move on, if anybody just joined us, Dan, tell them how they can get in touch with us.
Again, this is Athena Protection Service. You can get in touch with us on any social media at Athena Protection Service. You can contact us on our website at athenaprotections.com or reach us on our phone number at 800-951-4866. It's 1-800-951-4866.
And as always, please hit that like button and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you.
Please subscribe, please. We need the likes. We need the
So
numbers.
some resources. You can always contact your local FBI field office. If you think your
Okay.
child is a victim of sextortion, this is a federal crime. You can contact the FBI at fbi.gov or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Or you can go to cybertipline.org. That's cybertipline.org. Or Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Those are some different resources that you can use to make claims if you find out that your kid is being victimized online.
And like you said earlier, you as a parent, of course, you immediately want to react and take it into your own hands. But reaching out to some of those places you just mentioned and the technology and the abilities they have to track these predators down, these people aren't just doing this to your child. There's multiple families being affected by these type of predators. So please get the authorities involved so that you can truly stop this.
Right. And this has happened before. Even these guys, sometimes if they in your area, they will carry out on their threat. If you say you're not going to send them what they want, they will post your naked pictures at work, or they'll post them online. And
That's right.
They'll put them up where you don't want them to be seen. But, my advice would be to just, suffer those consequences of that one-time posting and don't give in, because once you give them one, they're going to want more and more and
Right,
more.
they can only show so many pictures of your ass, so
Right.
keep your ass off of there, literally.
Exactly.
Easier said than done. I found that, and this will be another topic. We got a lot of topics. We need somebody write down topics.
Right.
But these younger generation hate to sound like the old man, get off of my lawn. But they really, really like taking pictures of themselves.
It's ridiculous. That it was like I said, the social media. Yeah, this is another
and
topic.
That is most definitely.
You just sound old, dog. They like the way they look.
It's fueling these predators.
If you
in
had
some
a
cases.
phone when you was 20, you would have been taking pictures of yourself too. Don't lie.
Okay, yeah, but I put it like this, and it's just I've come to I just came to
At
this
least we real on this show.
Right.
I came to this realization maybe 5 or 10 years. The older we get, the more we become like our parents.
Absolutely.
And it's me and my dad have gotten closer because I'm becoming more and more like it's a lot of stuff that he did. As when I was a kid, I'm like, oh fuck that. And I wish he Now I'm like, yeah, my old man was right, and I tell him that. I'm like, I'm glad you did what you did. And I'm like, all these kids, they doing the same thing we doing. Mom, dad don't know what the fuck they talking about. But then as they get older, they're like, yeah, they was right. And then they, I hate that it just takes them time. I'm like, look, your parents just telling you shit because they've been through what you've been going through, and they don't want you to make the same mistakes. Kids, your parents was your age at one point, doing the same thing, giving your grandparents hell. So I'm like, okay, look, all they want you to do is they've matured. They don't want you making the same fucking mistakes. So, take that to heart. When your parents yelling at you saying you can't do this, they don't want you to get hurt. That's the whole thing. Your parents ain't trying to stop you from having no fucking fun. Like I said, the whole thing, your parents are just concerned for your safety and well-being. I know y'all don't understand or get it, but that's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So
if you want to keep pictures of yourself, get you an external share drive.
Okay.
And keep them off of your main computers, your main hard drives and things like that. You don't want your personal
iCloud
pictures. Yeah, don't be on somebody can get into the cloud.
The cloud is not locked.
Yeah, put them somewhere where they cannot be reached. So a couple case studies here. There was a guy in Michigan, 2014, got indicted in a sextortion plot against a 16-year-old male in California. This guy name was Nicholas Glenn Wilcox. Wilcox was acting like a teenage girl. Got the guy to send him some pictures of himself and ended up getting the kid's phone number. The kid ended up telling, and they ended up finding out that this guy had like 5 or 6 different online personalities that he was using to, coerce kids into, getting him the pictures that he wanted.
Kid did actually report
this
him.
kid told.
Good.
There's a guy.
That's great.
Former State Department employee Michael C. Ford sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison, and these prison terms are not long. These guys are not getting a lot of time for this, so the risk and the reward is for them is not is not that much.
I mean, I gotta say, from what I understand, in prison is not a good time for those type of people.
Oh no, I don't think he's gonna have a good time.
yeah, no, that's.
I mean, but I do agree with you that the time for the
Right.
crime, I don't think the sentencing is right. We can't rely on our fellow inmates to do the justice we need.
Yeah, everybody can't get fleeced. I don't know if it happened like that. But, so this former State Department employee, Michael C. Ford, he got almost 5 years in prison for hacking over 400 email accounts of young women, intending to extort them between 2013 and 2015. He ended up getting the passwords of all of his victims, gained access to their emails and social media accounts, and used the information to extort them. They also found that he posed as a talent scout and sent links to aspiring models that gave him more access to their accounts. That's another thing that they do. They act like they modeling agencies or modeling scouts and things like that, and they'll send girls links and things like that. Again, if you don't know what this agency is or who this person is trying to represent this agency, if you click a link from somebody that you don't know, they could get access to whatever media that you use, and may it be your phone, tablet, or computer. They can access it, your accounts, once you click that link. So if you don't know where it's coming from, if it's not legitimate, don't click it. So we got another guy, Jared Abrams.
Okay.
Arrested in 2013, pled guilty to computer fraud, three counts of extortion. He got 18 months in prison. Controlled the accounts of 150 women, and extorted them as young as 12 years old, including a U.S. beauty pageant winner, Cassidy Wolf.
Wow.
He was able to monitor and read victims' emails that he sent, control their webcams, and install malware, and utilize services to hide his IP addresses. Now these guys,
These dudes is something else.
right, 18 months for targeting 150 women.
That's what he got, 18
He got
months.
18 months. So that's nothing.
Well, was he black? Was he white?
He was white.
Well, okay, was he? You know, I hate to say that plays into it too.
I'm sure it does. Are we talking about sentencing guidelines? I haven't saw from what I looked through some of the cases. I haven't saw too many black guys doing this yet. But I mean, we can dig into it. I'm sure we can go through a study and see what the race numbers are. But I
the
mean,
victims don't.
the victims are being targeted,
Uh-huh.
not necessarily that I can see by race, but just by age group.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. That's
You know
what I'm
what I'm
saying. The
saying?
victims span all race.
Right.
It's just an age group that I think they target.
So it was this other guy named Lewis. He got 6 years in prison. He got a little more time. He victimized 200 women over the internet for sextortion. He
What was
loaded
Lewis' last name? Do you have it?
Mijanos. I don't know how to pronounce that. I
Okay.
don't know.
Because we want to make sure he get his
But
fair.
listen, the funny thing is,
yeah.
when
he
you
get
told me
his
about the
fair light.
sextortion stuff, I was
Yeah.
thinking about, just somebody we was fucking at work and just taking some nasty pictures. And
That's
then just-
different.
yeah,
That's
I know.
different. That's different. So
That's why I said what I said when I sent you that text message.
that's completely different. That's somebody putting some revenge porn up at you is not sextortion. That's something different.
Right.
This is
Which
people.
I think that's a felony in
Yeah,
California.
this is people intentionally trying to get more out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tricking you and getting more and more pictures or videos from you. So this guy put spyware and malware on computers of his 200 victims, gave him access to all their files, microphone, webcams. They said when he was caught, one of the victims decided to go to the FBI. He had 15,000 webcam videos, 900 recordings, and 13,000 screen captures. So again, if you think you on Snapchat and you think somebody don't have two phones and they not taking that picture with that other phone, you sadly mistaken just because that thing go away.
It didn't,
Because you think Snapchat operate on a server that don't hold things. Somebody's still capturing these things and your information is out there. Your pictures are out there. Your videos are out there.
why would you think
Gotta
it?
love this technology, I tell you.
They don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? That's why they think it, because they don't know any better.
Just think
So-
when I was young, no, it's not going to be bad. You're going to like it. No, it'll be. Of
Right.
course, people are going to tell you what they think you need to hear to take advantage of you. So if it sounds too good to be true,
Mm-hmm.
it's not.
Yeah. So I mean, just with this particular topic, just to kind of go back over, what we talked about. Females, you are the number one target for sextortion. 80% at least.
I mean, just keeping it real.
Right. Your kids, mostly girls as young as 8 years old. Your 8-year-old shouldn't even have time to get online and
Exactly.
send things, but it happens. People work, people got jobs, people got multiple jobs. Sometimes it's single parents, sometimes it's all kind of situations where kids are alone and they have access to these things. So monitor your daughters and your sons. Boys are also victims too. Sometimes, the boy could actually be homosexual and you don't want his friends to know. You don't want the family to know.
Right. Not ready to be
And
exposed to that.
he'll try to keep that secret before, and he'll just be a victim and keep sending things before he tell you what's happening or what he's going through. So my recommendation is to talk to your kids about this threat. Let them know what's going on out there. And if you're an adult, it can happen to you too. Don't click emails that you don't know where it's coming from or if it's legit, because then you could be victimized. If you have a webcam on your computer, your tablet, they all got them. Cover it up.
Just put a
Black
piece of tape on
tape.
it. Put a tape on it. Put a piece of tape
Cover
on
your
it.
camera up if you're not using it, so that nobody can access your camera while you're unaware.
Great point.
So, because you could be doing anything, walking around your house naked, which a lot of people do when they at home alone, and you may have your tablet with you in your hand and somebody's watching you because you clicked the email last week from somebody that you didn't know.
Unfortunately, that was really a vivid view of what you were saying popped up in my head now.
Yeah. It happens. So,
unfortunately, I
can't
get that out of my head now.
Again, be safe. If you think you are a victim, or if you think somebody's victimizing somebody contact the FBI, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or you can contact the cybertipline.org. Those are all resources where you can send in information or tips or something if you believe somebody is a victim. Or if you're a victim yourself. You don't have to keep sending these videos. You don't have to keep sending pictures, because they're never going to be good enough. They're never going to be right. And the person will keep demanding things from you.
You can always contact if you want to contact them. Your local and state agencies also have units to take care of that. So there's help out there.
Right.
Don't be scared to speak up. There are, just like there's thousands or millions of these predators, there's thousands and millions of people that are willing to help you to take care of the situation.
And you are not the only person having this problem. Like I said, these guys on the low end have 10 victims, high end hundreds. So
and just
you're
the
not
few
alone.
you pointed out today on the stories we talked about, all of those had well over 50.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of them were close to 100 or above. So
Right.
this is, again, something that you as the parent, when if you are to encounter something like this, make sure you get the authorities involved. I know you want to handle it on your own, but please get the authorities involved, because these people won't stop.
Right.
A good ass whooping is not going to stop them from doing this.
Right.
Unless you're willing to go all the way.
But yeah, I ain't gonna say that. You get that one ass with you. So
hey, these people are sick.
They are.
They'll take a couple of good ass whoopings and they'll still do these type of things.
And then again, these things cause psychological trauma to
Yes,
the
they do.
victims. So
Yes,
make sure
they
that
do.
they get some kind of help to cope and deal with these situations, because all too often these things lead to other actions such as suicide or withdrawal or drug abuse and things like that. So make sure
Great
the kids or adults who are victimized, they need help too. Don't be too strong or too stubborn to get you some help.
Man, if we could just do that in general,
Right.
I think we all will be better. So hey,
Right.
without beating a dead horse here, hey, don't be afraid to speak up. Tell somebody. Get the authorities involved. We can't stress that enough.
Right.
So some great topics today. We getting ready to go into the Christmas stretch here, the home stretch. Like I said earlier, we have 4 days left.
Right.
We've talked about on other podcasts, but just being safe these last few days going into the Christmas holiday. I know a lot of people are out there doing some last-minute Christmas shopping. Just a quick summary of some of the things that they can do to be safe, if you can elaborate on that, especially with you guys' previous experience.
Take somebody with you. That's what
Great
I would
point.
recommend. Don't go shopping by yourself. Don't do things out there by yourself. Wear your bag across your body so that nobody can snatch it away from you. If you out and you having a drink, don't take your eyes off that drink. Not saying that you're going to wake up and your organ's missing, but something can happen to you if you're not monitoring what's going on.
or at least cover it up. Cover
Right.
your drink up with a napkin or something.
Yeah, pay attention. Just pay attention to your surroundings.
Another great point.
What you got for me?
Hey, like I just said, you using them ATM machines and your phones. Be mindful of your surroundings. Like when you input them passwords and this, that, and the other, look and see who's around you before you start putting that information in. Or like I said, get you one of them RFID things for your credit cards. So people, because people walk around with them scanners and they're pointed at your purse, pointed at your wallet, and they got all your information. Get you that stuff that distorts all that information. I'm like, it's better to be safe than sorry. Better to be bulky than to have all your stuff taken.
And another one I like to add too is keep the house lit up this time of year.
Exactly.
I know you are worried about the electric bill, that heat bill most definitely probably kicking your ass, but this is the time of year to make sure you're keeping things lit up around your house. Crooks, the last thing they want is to be seen. So
Right.
keep it lit up. And then the last thing I like to say for the holidays is make sure if you're putting packages back into your car and you're going to do some more shopping, cover them up. Don't just leave bags from all of these fancy department stores on the back seat. It's real easy to break into a car. They don't have to have a brick in their pocket anymore. They can get into your car in seconds. So don't leave valuables. And most definitely something else that's dear to my heart is not just for the holiday, but any time of year, don't leave weapons in the car.
Oh, God, yes.
Just the dumbest thing, they had to actually put an ordinance, and if I'm not mistaken, it was in East Point.
It's East Point, but they fighting it, So
Stop leaving weapons in your car because criminals are literally just jiggling door handles and finding guns.
Right.
Don't know how true that is as far as the details of it, but lock your doors and
well, if you're gonna leave a gun
safe.
in the car, have the common sense to get a gun safe that's designed for the car. Drill it into the floor of the car. If you're gonna be stupid like that, make them work for it at least.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that.
Yeah,
just stop it.
Yeah.
Right.
But hey, some great things. Really interesting topic. Can't stress enough. Tell somebody. Get other people involved. You're not the only one that's going through this. Whether you're a young person, parents, be true to your kids. Be upfront, and that's when you can't sugarcoat it. You got to be 100% real and talk about what's going on out here with your kids. And for those of you parents that encounter this, you got to make sure you really get the authorities involved. You want to handle it yourself, but this person that's did this not just to your child.
Right.
It's hundreds of other people that they've done this to. So
Yeah, and they may not be in your area, so that's another thing too. These people, the internet allows you to reach victims all over the world. So
exactly.
That's all I got.
All right.
Wish
All
everybody a happy holidays and a happy New Year.
Yes,
And
sir.
you guys too. I know we'll probably see each other before then.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
if we
yeah,
don't,
yeah,
enjoy the holidays. This is really about family. I know for me and my cousin here personally, this has been a trying year for us, and really looking forward to getting together these holidays and just letting one another know we care about you. It's not just about gifts, as we all know, but spend this time with your families, really connecting, bonding. If you want to argue about politics, do that too. But at the end of the day, don't forget it's all love. Don't let these things in life distract you.
All right.
Indubitably.
All right, we out.
All right.
All right.
Ugh.